Academy of Art University's Urban Nights Update is next. Coming up, the dance party fire at an Oakland warehouse that ended in a horrific tragedy.
Warnings about credit card usage during your holiday shopping.
You'll be surprised at just how much money people are willing to spend on their dogs. We'll have the story.
And a behind-the-scenes look at the new film A Monster Calls, starring Liam Neeson and Felicity Jones. All that and more next on Urban Nights Update.
Hi there, and thanks for joining us here at the Academy of Art University's Urban Nights Update. Beatrice Martinez is with me. I'm Vanessa Salas. Investigators are still trying to determine the cause and the circumstances of the tragic Oakland warehouse fire that happened over the weekend. As of Monday, 36 bodies have been recovered, with officials predicting that the final death toll could well be into the 40s. So far, the victims are in their 30s and 20s, plus one 17-year-old high school student. The warehouse is in the Fruitville district of Oakland and appears to have served as an unlicensed artist live workspace. There was a dance party Friday night when the fire broke out. With flames raging through the building, the power went out and the roof collapsed, trapping many inside. Recovery efforts had to be stopped Monday when structural engineers determined that one of the remaining walls was in danger of toppling and needed to be shored up before the recovery could continue.
Concerns are being raised with Donald Trump's choice of Ben Carson as Secretary of the Department of Housing and Urban Development. The main issue being that Carson has no background in the government. Trump's most surprising guest at the Trump Tower on Monday was Democratic former Vice President Al Gore. Transition officials say Gore met later with Trump's daughter, Ivanka, to discuss climate change. Gore called his conversation with the president-elect as very productive, not revealing what the two discussed. However, during the campaign, Trump called man-made climate change a joke. Donald Trump is not saying what he's going to do about the Dakota Access Pipeline. This comes after Native Americans and the supporters won a victory over the weekend when the Army Corps of Engineers announced it would look for alternate routes for the pipeline, rather than construct the pipe near an important water source. Opponents who have been protesting the project for months are vowing to stay put in the North Dakota camp despite terrible weather conditions and leaders advised to leave. They are concerned this victory in temporary will change once President-elect Trump takes office next month.
BART rides to SFO Airport have been decreased, while Lyft and Uber rides shares have been increased. According to the San Francisco Examiner, the decline has led BART to nearly $4 million under budget for this year. Groups of the poll who use ride shares on the Lyft and Uber can split the fare. BART, on the other hand, charges individual fares for each passenger. BART staff is now looking into giving discounts for group passengers. San Francisco hospitals can begin to experience a staffing crunch if student enrollment at City College of San Francisco continues its downward trend. Diana Garcia, the head of CCSF's Diagnostic Medical Imaging Program, says if you go to any hospital in San Francisco or the surrounding area, a majority of the technologists in the radiology came from the department. CCSF has lost a third of the population, and their stability funding provided by the state expires next year. The college is expected to lose $35 million.
The Macy's men's store in San Francisco Union Square is on its last legs. Morgan Stanley will buy the building on Stockton Street for $250 million. In the meantime, Macy's will rent it out for 2 to 3 years while the men's clothing moves into the main store. The company will close the men's store because more people buy clothing online, and they also may close other locations in Minneapolis, Chicago, and New York. Holiday shopping is fun for some, but for others, it could be the beginning of some serious debt. Jade Evans takes a look at how credit cards can play a role in that.
With the holidays approaching, many people plan to use credit cards instead of debit or cash. According to Magnify.com, Americans has a $986 debt on average. Most people would take over 5 months to pay off holiday debt.
My finances have been affected by my holiday spending by just being careless with how much I'm buying and how many items I am buying. Not really paying attention to the sales that much, but I'm kind of am still. Like, I'm getting the good sales first, but then I'm also like, oh, this is cute. Let me buy this. Let me buy all that.
Yeah, I definitely have a high interest rate. I'm a college student, so I don't have a lot of debt. But I'd say it's probably about 7 to 8% of my credit card and interest. So I'm going to be paying this. If I don't pay it by the end of the month, I'll be paying on this credit card for like a year.
According to PwC, holiday shopping has increased by 10%, with the consumer spending about $1,121.
I would say that I probably spent way too much. I've used my credit cards, I've used cash, money that I wouldn't normally spend. So I'm kind of broke right now. Don't have a lot of money.
The consequences that I thought about while doing my holiday spending, it's been not good at all, because you realize how much you spend. You're like, oh damn, I overspent. So sometimes it's not worth it. I would say just be careful of how much, and like think about what you really need first before you buy what you want while holiday spending.
In San Francisco, this is Jade Evans with your Urban Nights update.
If you decide to use credit cards for your holiday shopping, you should probably be careful and make a budget.
Amazon is announcing what may be the store of the future, scheduled to open in Seattle early next year. The store will allow customers to walk in, select the items they want, and simply walk out. Along with the opening of the store, Amazon will be launching an app called Amazon Go, which customers will use to register once in the store. Sensors will be able to track customers as they browse the store while registering items they select. Looks like a new and convenient way to shop in the new year.
If you're one of those who wait all year for the Victoria's Secret annual TV special, there's a new development. Bruno Mars will be signing his new song, 24K Magic, at this year's telecast. It was filmed in Paris, and apparently he is clothed in a black dress and fur coat. If you care, the show airs on December 5th on CBS. If your passion is fashion, then Academy of Art University may be the place for you. It is the only college program in the country that is a part of New York Fashion Week. Priscilla Mora takes us behind the scenes.
Fashion styling is a major that focuses on the newest fashion, but it isn't just putting outfits together. Behind the scenes, it takes a lot of production work to make the style work. Haley Pryor, a fashion styling major here at the Academy of Art, has expanded her knowledge through her hands-on experience through the fashion department.
It's not a traditional school, so it definitely helps you by being able to do all these projects, hands-on, work with other people, and work off other people's creativity.
Here at the Academy of Art, the Fashion Styling Department does its best to help its students succeed. Graduate Sherelle Williams explains to us what the Academy has done for her.
It's definitely like a good resume builder, having a degree for fashion. Fashion industry is not that big in San Francisco, but like when I do get gigs, it really helps by having that on your resume, a degree, and then all the experience added on top of that.
Fashion is an industry that will never die. Here at the Academy of Art, professors do their best to help their students be as successful as they can be.
They're basically like our mentors as students, and they taught us a lot of like insight, more so than like textbook learning. So that was always a positive, working with your instructors hands-on, and then also building your portfolio for when you go out into the career world.
The Academy of Art does its best to prepare its students for the future. Here at the Fashion Styling Department, your success can come from various things: your lookbook, your photo shoots, and your resume. In San Francisco, I'm Priscilla Moore with the Academy of Art University's Urban Nights Update.
If you'd like more information about the department, Go to academyofart.edu/fashion.
San Francisco's Old Mint building is getting a redo thanks to the state of California, which is pitching in $1 million. The city will pony up $500,000. With those contributions, there's enough to begin planning the reconstruction of the old granite on the building. The contributions will allow the Honor Historical Society to develop the projects like how to finance, how to line up public and private partners, and how to turn the building into a learning historical center. The Old Mint is one of the many historic landmarks in the city. If you're looking for a non-holiday family outgoing, join our very busy Priscilla Mora, who now takes you to some of the landmarks.
The city of San Francisco has many historic landmarks for you, for your friends, and for your family to visit. Landmarks like the Palace of Fine Arts, Grace Cathedral, and the Wave Organ. The Palace of Fine Arts is located in the Marina District of San Francisco. It was constructed in 1915 to exhibit works of art. The Palace of Fine Art is also home to many swans and ducks in their lagoon. Tourists from all over the world take time to visit for a peaceful and relaxing experience.
So the reason we came here was for the architecture and the old style architecture and the lovely gardens. It's a great place to take photos, and it's one of the great landmarks in San Francisco.
Much like the Palace of Fine Arts, Grace Cathedral is known for its architectural structure and has been a landmark here in San Francisco since 1849. Grace Cathedral is an Episcopal church located in the Nob Hill area of San Francisco. The cathedral is most widely known for its stained glass pieces and its medieval furnishings. Aside from the spiritual activities, they hold various concerts and art exhibits throughout the year. To plan your visit with Grace Cathedral, you can visit them online at gracecathedral.org to book a tour or just to see their upcoming events for this month. The Wave Organ is a hidden gem that isn't widely known by tourists. The Wave Organ is a wave-activated acoustic sculpture built by the Exploratorium. The sculpture is made up of 25 organ pipes made with PVC and concrete. The sound of the waves is a subtle sound, forcing tourists to engage with the music and the environment.
I'm really interested in seeing all the landmarks that San Francisco has to offer, and this was one I haven't seen. And I know that there was like a really nice view. Unfortunately, it's super cloudy, but you can see Alcatraz and the Golden Gate Bridge pretty clear, so it's kind of cool.
Don't miss out on the opportunity to visit one of these beautiful landmarks. In San Francisco, I'm Priscilla Mora with the Academy of Art University's Urbanites Update.
To plan a visit to any of these locations, go to their website or just take the time out of your day to enjoy the scenery they have to offer.
Dogs are a great way to give emotional support and comfort crime victims. The San Francisco District Attorney's Office now has 2 dogs on staff to help ease the anxieties of crime victims. The dogs are a donation from a Santa Fe, New Mexico nonprofit, Assistance Dogs of the West. They are especially trained to work with children, adults, and disabilities and people in crisis. Studies show that dogs can reduce anxiety, blood pressure, and heart rate for victims, especially when they are undergoing questioning. Many people treat their dogs as their own children. I wanted to find out how much money people spend on their pets and how others can profit from it.
According to NBC News, owning a dog is more expensive than ever this year. One reason being that average services are increasing in price. Americans will spend more than $60 billion on their pets this year. Deron Brown, who owns a Doberman, understands the amount of care his dog needs.
The name of my dog is Zeus, and he is a little over 6 months. Zeus costs roughly $3,000. Monthly, we spend about $100 alone on just his food. He goes through about 2 bags, which are $50 a piece. That does not include the supplements. We spend about roughly $75 on supplements alone. We have 1 supplement for his coat, 1 supplement for his multivitamins and health, and then another supplement for growth. We take him to the groomers about once a month, but he gets a full service, which includes nail clippings, washing, vet checkup, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Since Zeus is going to need some training, it's going to be very expensive. We're going to actually get the trainer to come out to the house, so it'll cost about $60 an hour. and a few hours each session.
For those of you who have owned a pet or do own a pet, we all know they can be a pain sometimes, but at the end of the day, they're our best friends. Justice Hinohasa is someone who relies on a dog walking app as her way of income.
The WAG app is basically dog owners who need to get their dog walked, or maybe they need a babysitter for their dog, and WAG basically sets us up with their clients and we get paid a portion of the money. On average, for a 30-minute walk, it's $15. For 60 minutes, it's $21. And then that doesn't include tips. The most I've been paid on a walk, probably around $38. I've been paid up to $800 in 2 weeks, and that's kind of just a bonus for getting a certain amount of dog walks within a week. The biggest thing that's shocked me is how well people take care of their dogs. I had one dog one time who wouldn't walk without their dog shoes on, and there's certain owners that, you know, they need their dog brushed or blow dried before they get back in, and paws wiped and showered right before they're back in their house.
In San Francisco, I'm Beatrice Martinez for Urban Nights Update.
Well, if you are one of those who is planning on owning a pet, I hope that cleared things up for you on the amount of care a pet may need.
And now let's go to Tate Sprague with our AAU Sports Update.
Thanks, Vanessa. Last week, our women's basketball team kicked off their season against the Fresno Pacific Sunbirds. This was the first game of the conference, and boy, what a way to start it off. The Knights thrashed the Sunbirds, starting out the game with a 15-4 run. But the Sunbirds fought back and were able to cut the lead to just 8 at halftime. But that wasn't enough to stop the Knights. The game ended 73-56 and allowed the Knights a spot near the top of the table. Art U head coach Lene Larson explains hard work that went in during preseason to get the first game victory.
Last weekend was a really important weekend for us, especially starting out 0-4 with a tough schedule, that we bounced back and started to put together some of the things that we've worked on in practice. Humboldt was a good game for us to start with. I wasn't necessarily extremely happy with the win. I felt like that we did some really good things. We made some strides, but that we had a long ways to go, and I told the girls bouncing back the next day that we would have to play a lot more discipline, value the ball more, take care of possessions, and play even harder defensively. And I was really proud of the girls on Sunday. I thought East Bay was a big step in the right direction as far as staying disciplined on both ends of the court. We were able to lock down some certain people that we keyed on, some of the defensive concepts that we changed going into that game. They did a good job of making adjustments. And then offensively, I felt like we were a lot more patient, moved the ball well, especially in key situations.
We had 2 big wins this weekend because we got our the hardest preseason out, and then we were like, we can make this hard or we can make this easy.
Also, we saw the weaknesses of the other team. For example, we knew that we were more athletic and faster, so we got to push more on fast breaks.
Along with our women's team, our men's basketball team also played Fresno Pacific in their season opener. Art U got out to an early lead to start the game with a 6-2 run, but the Sunbirds then answered by scoring 11 unanswered points, making it a 13-6 game. Academy of Art then looked to junior guard Kendall Brown, who went 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. Brown's 14 points set a career high for most points in a single half. The second half began tied 38-38, with Art U taking and then holding the longest lead of the game. With 12 seconds remaining, Art U was only down by 2 points, but then committed a foul and forced 2 free throws, both of which were made, and ended the game 77-81 in favor of the Sunbirds. It seems off the field, the Academy of Art softball team has been hard at work with the announcement of 4 new recruits. These players consist of 2 new pitchers, a catcher, and 1 infielder. We welcome these ladies and look forward to seeing them play in the coming years. And now our upcoming games this weekend. Both our men and women's basketball teams take on Holy Names at their home court this Sunday. The women will play at 5, with the men following at 7:30. That's all we have for sports this week. See you guys next time.
Thanks, Tate. Amazon continues its investment with esports by hosting the Champions Fire Invitational through the Amazon App Store. This past Friday in Las Vegas, 16 top gaming celebrities played the mobile games: Disney Crossy Road, Pac-Man 256, Balloon Tower Defense Battles, 8-Ball Pool, and Fruit Ninja Tournament Edition. They competed for the cash prize of $10,000. It was streamed on Twitch, Amazon Fire TV, and Amazon.com, along with other social media outlets. The Houston Rockets have recently expanded to esports and gaming by hiring a new director of esports in the team's front office. The team isn't really sure how they can use esports, but have been quoted saying, "We know the esports space is valuable. Now let's take time and really figure it out." Sebastian Park, the new director, ran the esports team Archon and will be used for his experience in the esports community.
Now, on the world of photography and cinematography, today reporter Anastasia Hansen interviews a student, photographer, and cinematographer with some pretty impressive credentials.
Hi, I'm here with Karen Velasco, photographer and cinematographer. Karen, what made you pursue the art of photography and cinematography?
So I initially started with photography from an early age, and it's definitely something that kind of ran in my family. I never thought that I would really pursue it as a career, but being able to find myself in photography has also kind of like brought my interest into cinematography.
And what made you choose to do photography and cinematography rather than just stick with one?
So I initially started cinematography and learning more about film from my boyfriend, and a lot of understanding a lot of different aspects of cinematography, like audio, and having like similar composition has kind of kept me interested in it.
Okay. And you worked with Derek Hansen on the latest advertisement for Touch of Modern. What was your role with that latest advertisement?
For the latest role, I was focusing mostly on lighting and setting up like the camera, and he did most of like the shooting itself.
Did you participate in any of the editing with it?
Not really. Touch of Modern has like their own editor, and if anything, Derek ends up working on most of the edits himself.
And both of you as well work with cinematography and filming certain events here in the Bay Area. What would you say your favorite aspect of that is?
Yeah, the most recent show that we shot was at Fox Theater for a friend of ours, Starfari, and it's been really challenging just trying to work with like the pacing and then also like having fun.
All right, do you have any advice for photography and cinematography students here pursuing the similar career?
I would advise to consistently find your own style for yourself and pursue it with everything that you have. Just being really passionate, that's going to get you more ahead than anything else.
What made you choose to come to the Academy of Art University to pursue photography and cinematography?
What I definitely found in the Academy of Art was living in a city and really being immersed inside a culture, and then finding yourself within a different community. And I'm originally from Southern California, so I was kind of ready to get away from just like the small town kind of vibe. And I chose AAU because of their focus on like the industry and being current and having professors that are constantly working in the industry. So you really do learn a lot, and the people who are teaching you really know what they're talking about.
Thank you, Karen. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Anastasia. For more entertainment, let's join Lucius Lee for the latest.
Hi, welcome to this week's latest entertainment. My favorite film series, Star Wars, now as claimed called Rogue One, a Star Wars story, is open on December 16th. Let's take a look, since this is sure to be a hit.
State your name for the record.
Jyn Erso.
Rogue One, a Star Wars story, is sits between Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. It's focused on the level before the completion of the assembly for the Death Star. and their plan stopped the Empire. The main character, Jean Erso, is played by Felicity Jones. She is a white girl who always got into trouble before she joined the Re-Alliance. The group's leader, Mom Mathema, selects Jen as candidate to carry out the mission at hand.
You can feel everyone in the crew and the cast kind of stops and just takes that in, and you remember, oh, we're actually in Star Wars.
It's like the world's greatest toy set. It's a bit like being that kid again, with Star Wars figures. Stormtroopers over here, and then this happens, there's an explosion. It's been a lot of fun. It's the greatest job in the world. Rogue One takes place very close to Episode 4. The simplest way to explain it is that text you see at the beginning of A New Hope. That is essentially our movie.
At last week, Mona, which was released on November 23rd, has earned more than $1 million. Meanwhile, its opponent, Fantastic Beasts, reached $116 million. Doctor Strange hits $210 million. That looks like a lot, but since it's released before Thanksgiving, it's not strange that it got a good start. However, Disney films always have a dip after the first week, so let's wish them well for the rest of the December. Let's move forward for popular music. Last week, top 5 songs are out. 21 Pilots, Hidden comes in 5th. Ariana Grande featuring Nicki Minaj, Side to Side, reward as 4th. The Week featuring Daft Punk has Starboy in the 3rd role. Number 2 is the Chainsmokers featuring Harris with Closer. And the top 1 are Shamed featuring Gucci Mane with the Black Beatles. In San Francisco, every December there are holiday events called
Every December there's
Great
a holiday
Union
event
Street
called
Elf
the Great Union Street
Hunt.
Elf Hunt.
It's between Gulf Street and Steiner Street. The rules are very easy. To play this game, you only need a elf hunt map and endurance. Some stores has elf hiding in them. If you find all of the elves, you can win prize for the store. That whole event will last for 1 week, from December 3rd on the 11th. It looks interesting. Play the game and doing some shopping, as well as going some extents. I can't wait to download a elf hunter map. If you want to know more events to join, check the website at sf-funtrip.com. That's all we have this week. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.
A new movie coming out this week will require you to bring tissues. Reporter Whitley Sandretto had a chance to preview The Tear Jerker, A Monster Calls, and talk with its director, J.A. Bayona.
How does the story begin?
With a boy, too old to be a kid.
You're coming to live with me. Don't touch anything.
Too young to be a man.
A young boy named Connor is left figuring out how to cope with his mother's terminal illness in J.A. Bayona's new tear-jerking film, A Monster Calls.
What did he do?
That is when he seeks the help of a tree monster voiced by Liam Neeson to deal with life
The monster, the tree monster that we see in A Monster Calls has a lot to do with the Green Man, which is based, it's a legend based in Celtic traditions. And I always thought about an old man with an Irish accent and that carries on all the wisdom and all this knowledge that you can think about with a character like that one. So I think that from the very beginning there was Liam Neeson on the table, Liam Neeson's name, and it was quite obvious that we wanted him.
I'm sorry you have to face this, but you have to be brave. Do you understand?
A Monster Calls is based upon a novel that has a strong message for children.
Break them yourself.
Well, it's very important that the seed of this story was the willing to help kids dealing with difficult situations. It was this English writer, Siobhan Tout, who wanted to write a book finding a way to help kids dealing with loss. She wanted to do it because she was sick, and unfortunately she couldn't finish her book. And it was Patrick Ness who took her idea and made an amazing job. A Monster Calls became a very popular book with kids, especially in UK.
It's okay that you're angry. I'm angry too. And if you need to break things, by God, you break them.
With the help of a tree monster, Connor goes on an adventure while learning to cope the best way a young boy can.
I'm afraid.
Of course you are afraid, but you will make it through.
I'm going to finish up by asking you, how would you describe your movie in 3 words?
In 3 words, so I would say unique, psychological, and magical.
For this is why you called me.
Grab your tissues and go see A Monster Calls in theaters January 6th. Reporting for Urban Eye Update, I'm Whitley Sandretto.
That's it for this edition of Academy of Art University's Urban Nights Update. I'm Beatrice Martinez.
And I'm Vanessa Salas. For everyone here, thanks for joining us. See you back tomorrow.